Welcome back into HogZone. I'm joined now by our HogZone contributors, Kevin Luthringer and Jim Harris. And guys, finally feels good to be back talking after a win, right?
Man, 3 weeks, 3 weeks of losing was tough. Nice to finally be back in the win column.
I don't remember what it was like. I think they came from behind against Missouri State. You know, that's how long it's been.
Many moons ago. Yeah, you had to rack the brain to think about it. But now, like we mentioned, Arkansas, big win over BYU. And it started from the beginning with KJ Jefferson's return. Jim, we'll start with you. Just did you see any rust, or did KJ just look good?
Yeah, I thought there was rust early. I thought passing was high a little bit behind receivers some. But then, you know, there would be that stretch where he'd hit, 12 or 15 and really turn the game around. They were geared to stop him. They were shooting gaps with their linemen, and they were keeping the linebackers from overrunning, so he didn't have that cutback. Arkansas, it was fun to watch Brawls today. I know there was criticism, even probably from me after 2 series. It's like, why are we throwing? He had to feel them out. Once he did, he made a little adjustment on that 3rd series. He had them do a little more influence blocking, and you saw him delay a little bit on the handoffs. Man, that opened it up for Rocket, but it also opened it up for the other running backs, DeBinion and Green, and then they were fantastic in the receiving game as well.
Well, and you mentioned KJ started off slow, but if you look at his stats, I think he finished 29 for 40 with 367 yards, so it doesn't look like it by the stats. They really got things going.
Well, it's just the rushing.
Right.
If you take out the 14-yard run he had that finally things open, they had to run a little counter. That was the first thing that got him free. He only averaged 1.8 yards a carry, and that was, I think they expected more, but I think BYU sold out to like, we're going to stop KJ or the backup, and that's how we're going to have to beat Arkansas, stop the quarterback.
Well, and that's what you brought it up, and Sam even brought it up in his post game. Kendall Browse has gotten a lot of bad talk on Twitter and on the internet. Today, he really had a great game. They went 12 for 14 on 3rd downs. After having a fumble and punt for the first 2 drives, they went 8 straight of just all touchdowns and 1 field goal. So that offense looked great
But
today.
an offensive coordinator is only as good as his team's execution.
Correct.
And they were terrific today. This was probably the most terrific over a stretch of game that I think they've played.
Yeah, Kevin, you mentioned the stat there. 8 straight drives for Arkansas that ended in points. And for a while there, they kind of needed every single one of them. This was going back and forth. The defense, the ultimate bend, don't break game. Kevin, what did you see from the Arkansas D?
Well, they're not good. The defense needs some work. As we can give Kendall Browse his credit, Barry Odom, you got your work cut out for you. The bye week is what they need because the defensive backs, they are hurt, so we'll cut them a little slack. But, man, BYU was having their way throwing the ball. And then Sam even mentioned it in the postgame that they were like, just stop the pass. I don't care if they run for, 400 yards. We need to stop the pass. And what was it between Puka Nacua, I just want to say his name, and then Cody Epps, they went for 17 catches and almost 300 yards, just them two. Man, if you're a receiver, you're licking your chops if Arkansas is coming on the schedule.
And Jaron Hall was a really good quarterback today. He threw some dimes. There's one pass over McLaughlin that was just perfectly thrown, and the receiver played it perfectly too. But I liked, just like Kendall adjusted, you saw Barry have to adjust. Their plans of rushing or lining up with 4 in the line and maybe sending a 5th rusher didn't work. I mean, they never got to the quarterback. And on the other end, when Arkansas would be like half zone, half man, you'd have the wrong guy in man, and they burned him for at least 3 touchdowns.
Is
out
this
there.
something we think if the safeties and the defensive backs can get a little healthy going out of this bye week, can they right this and at least get okay on the back end, or is this just we're going to have to outscore teams the rest of the year?
Well, there are a couple of guys that will be coming back, but I don't know if they matter if they're like difference
Catalan's
maker
not
guys.
coming back. So.
Catalan's not coming back. You want to get Slusher out there without a calf injury. Maybe he makes a little bit more of a difference, but it looked like he just had to go back to the 3-8 and really play zone most of the second half, and it worked out a lot better. The thing that BYU adjusted to that was running the ball, and they ran it pretty good, but they shortened the field. And Arkansas should have got off the field on that first possession of the second half, and you had just a horrible interference play on 4th down. Not horrible in the call. It was the right call. It was just poorly played on a ball that wasn't going to be caught. So
That seemed like a theme for the secondary. Again, we know Twitter's not real life, but Arkansas fans real feisty about all the pass interference calls. Is it a mix of officiating and the DBs? Are they just putting themselves in bad positions? We keep seeing again and again. There was one on 4th down on Simeon Blair that extended a drive that ended in a touchdown for BYU.
Well, that was a good call, though. It was interference. He took him down, even though the ball was theoretically uncatchable. You got to call
Still
that.
can't,
Not that close, but yeah, I thought McLaughlin got a couple of.
There was one
calls.
that was real specific where I thought they were both bad on, and they called it on McGovern. And then they did the same play where Trey Knox was bad on someone, and they didn't call it. Then I thought the refs were a little. Most of the calls
that was
were
an SEC
right.
crew.
Yeah.
Next year I guess it'll be whatever league BYU is going to be affiliated with coming in. It won't be an SEC crew, but you wouldn't see these SEC guys call it that closely in an SEC game. I mean, they would let a lot of that
If you're
go.
Arkansas and if you're KJ Jefferson, you're watching this, they can do – I don't think we do enough. Just throw it – you got big receivers. Just throw it up to them. Maybe you get a couple of pass interference
You
calls.
saw that on the ball that Warren Thompson probably should have caught, but got bailed out by the pass interference.
Throw more to Knox. Get him
Knox
7 or 8 catches the rest
We
of
talked
the
about
way.
that earlier, yeah. Knox seems like he could be an X factor if you really get
For
him
these
involved.
last 5 games, I hope the plan shifts to getting him the ball, 7 or 8 times, unless he's just the attention of the defense. I mean, and if he grabs that kind of attention, then somebody else will get open.
All right, finally back in the win column, Arkansas. Big time win over BYU. We'll wrap things up with just looking forward. I mean, does this give you more confidence the rest of the way? How are you feeling about this team heading into the bye week? Kevin, you start.
I mean, obviously a win's better than going into it with 4 straight losses. It's nice to get Sam Pittman's turning his jukebox back on. But
It's getting rusty.
it was. Good to know it still works. I'm more confident moving forward, but BYU's defense is bad, and this is what should have happened, and that's what good teams take care of business when they need to. The bye week's going to be big. I want to see what we do against the SEC team. Auburn's going to be important to see. Are we just a 500 team, or can we right this wrong and get back into the win column consistently?
Yeah, Arkansas had a lot more talent, but that doesn't mean they were going to win, especially with no confidence going in. But they leave with confidence, feeling good about themselves, and 2 weeks off to get even the players who are out there, get them healthy and a little less feeling bunged up, and go down to Auburn and maybe put one out there. They've got a load of talent. They're just not playing well. That'll be a tough game. A lot more talent at Auburn than there is at BYU, in my opinion. But they don't have the quarterback.